Good afternoon, everyone. This is Brad Weber. Welcome to another episode of Simply Local. I'm the CEO of Local Umbrella Media here in San Diego, and Simply Local is a program that talks about not only local people here in San Diego, but people in other communities that promote local businesses, promote loving your community and being a local person. My special guest today is from Billings, Montana, and coincidentally, sort of, the publisher of Simply Local magazine in Billings, correct? Jenny Barriger. Hi, Jenny.
Yes. Hi, how are you? Thanks, Brad.
Thanks for joining me. Sorry, that was kind of a
Absolutely.
convoluted introduction, but
No, it
I'll give a little background on how we got together. I mean, I was in Montana last summer and traveling around a beautiful state. We had such a great time, and I came across your magazine, and I'm in publishing, so it's kind of my
right.
world when I see that, like, this is cool. Let me look through this. And I love the way it looked and what your basic mission was, which we'll talk about a little bit. But I also talked to some other people, and everybody out there loves Simply Local magazine. And you're kind of the game in town as far as print. And so I was instantly a fan, and then we connected and started communicating with each other. And anyway, so that's kind of our background. But I just want to ask you, you know, the general stuff, what got you into this business, what your background is, why Simply Local. The name, I think we can explain why you chose it, but I think that's obvious. But just go into your background a little bit.
Right. Sure. No, thank you for having me. And it's been fun. Like I said, it was fun meeting you and getting to know you. And so this is super fun as well. Background. I was not a publisher to start. That was not my background. I needed information. And so Simply Local actually started as a family publication. It started as Simply Family back in 2008. And it was really a need for community information. And I saw the need and I wanted to do something about it. I had some design experience. And so I jumped off a cliff and decided to publish a magazine. And that magazine was our number one family resource for over a decade. And then as we were moving farther along, as my kids were growing up, I actually decided that I wanted to handle more local content other than just family. And that's where Simply Local was born. And we added family, food, home, local, anything local that we could talk about, we would put it in the magazine. And when we did that, I just did it because I wanted to feature more local content. But what it did was it blew up on us. It turned into kind of the local go-to as newspapers are receding in these years. We've been pulled into that space where locals just want connection with their community. And so they've really looked to us for that connection and that information. It's been fun.
It has been fun. And we do the same. There was a store out here called Simply Local too. That's why, and there didn't make it through the COVID years. So it's gone now, but always love the name. And I love this shop. And I know you had a shop kind of similar out there also, but it was all where local people made things and came in and you could buy everything made by a local and all that stuff. And it's just, I know preaching, from what we preach all the time is people love their communities. They love, communicating with each other. If they're put in a positive light, they love to, positive news versus the general news and all that type of stuff. So you're really doing kind of like what I'm doing out here, but yours is a beautiful, what is it, 120 pages a month?
It's anywhere from 100 to 140 some pages a month right now is where we're publishing. So yeah,
it's a big, thick magazine with lots and lots of content. And I think it's running on the bottom of the screen, but if it's not, we'll make sure people can, if they want to take a look through your magazine, you can find it online also. Right.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah. Even if you just Google us, you usually find it, which is, it's great.
Got it. Well, there's an overwhelming conception that print doesn't work anymore. Nobody's online. And I talk about this a lot, so it's redundant to some people that have watched the show before, but it's worth repeating over and over again because it's just simply not true. Simply not true. Simply Local. That people don't read these things and that people don't go and look at printed products or things like that. And I know from talking to people that read Simply Local Billings when I was out there, and also, what we do over and over again. So print really does work, and it really is a unique space, and you've proven this. And that's why I wanted to find you and reach out to you, because you've really proven that, this thing can really kill it. And I mean, you've got so many advertisers in there, and you've got so many fans and readers, and you're making money, and the community
Yeah,
loves it. So, and it all revolves around print. And we'll talk about a little bit more of the other
sure.
things you do for your advertisers, which is
Right.
which is really cool. But you know, we keep selling, print is the center of it all. And very few
Mhm.
people do that. Everybody's online, everybody's doing social media, everybody's got websites, everybody's got this and that, but very, very people are in print because, as especially this year, like everything else, the cost of printing's gone out of sight
It
and
has.
it's expensive. But the good thing about that is it keeps the nobodies out,
That's a good
because
way
you
to look
can't
at it.
yeah, you just can't, let's do a magazine and spend 20 or 30 or $40,000 and, put the
Right.
art together and go to print and ship it out here and deliver it and all that stuff versus let's just throw something on social media or let's do a website. So I feel like I'm doing all the talking. I should do YouTube. But tell us, the secret of your success. I know you have a huge team, well, huge in my world, but you've got a team
Huge in
of
printing for a
huge in
magazine.
printing, yeah. You got a really great team out there, and I've met a couple of those online too since we've met. So, tell us about your staff, what you do, what makes Simply Local Billings the go-to company.
Absolutely. Uh, you're right. Print is not dead. It's not even close to being dead. It's expensive. That's and again, like you said, that makes everybody not be able to reach print on their own. But when we come together collaboratively as a community in a community magazine, then it becomes a lot more attainable to reach that print. And print is fabulous for a few reasons. On the reader side, print is fabulous because in 2022, print is a luxury. We are inundated with digital information every day, all day. So when you just get to
Mm,
sit back and take time out and read something that's pretty and that feels good and that makes you and feel positively about where you live, that's actually a luxury, and our readers just really look forward to that. We if if our issues, and they're not, but like, so even online, if our issue is a day late to hitting our website, we hear about it from our readers because they're looking forward to that time spent in a positive way with our community,
right,
and they're looking forward to finding that print copy and picking it up and getting to sit down with it. So
right,
we print is not dead at all. And again, when you can do it cooperatively so that you can bring it more affordably to your entire community, it makes sense. On in a marketing standpoint, print is also not dead. Print is the most trusted form of advertising still to
mhm,
this day.
yep,
And it doesn't mean that other forms of advertising don't work. It just means that if you want to build a brand and if you want to build trust and if you want people to feel good about your brand, then print should absolutely be a part of your marketing portfolio. So anyone who says print is dead just kind of makes me cry a little bit inside because I
right.
think that they're missing it kind of on a few different points for sure.
Well, I use the print is dead in news because print is dead in news. Your daily papers are really suffering,
I
and
agree.
most of the news that happened yesterday, we've already heard about. So I get the daily paper today, and I still get one because I
Okay.
sometimes I like to read it. Usually it's the weekends when I really get around to reading it, and I like the Sunday paper, but the daily papers sometimes they go right in the recycle before me even opening them because it's 3 days later when I have a chance to read it. Plus, I know I'm not going to get anything shocking new that I'm going to discover something because I've seen it on TV or heard it on Twitter or whatever. So,
Mhm.
um, but print as far as a medium, the other thing is that there's a lot of studies. We probably have the same studies, but people
Right.
remember what they read in print. You see so many things online, and it just flies
Yeah,
by you. And you ask people a day later what they saw, and they have no idea. So,
they don't.
one of I live in analogies, so my wife hates metaphors. My wife hates it, but I call it going to a party. Print, we can reduce the cost. It's very
Mhm.
expensive if you do print on your own and you do a postcard and you mail it. Those things
Yeah,
cost a fortune, and sometimes they're thrown right away. So if you can get a bunch of businesses cooperatively to go together and in one printed product, everybody's cost is reduced. Plus, everyone's cross referring each other because they're all part of this Simply Local magazine. So that you kind of got a not only not only the power of the printed ad in the magazine that people love, but you've got the whole community of everyone else talking about Simply Local. So other businesses are cross promoting other businesses, and we're all in kind of it's almost like a big networking club. And so, um, the print is the center of it all. Oh, my analogy was a party.
Hmm.
online's a free party that everybody goes to. You don't know who's going to be there. It just happens to be close because it's easy to get to and it's free. So everybody and their brother and their dog's going to show up. But are you really going to find the person you want to find there? Or print is kind of a party that, it's a little nicer. It's a
Yep. It's a
gourmet
little more
meal
exclusive.
maybe. The ticket's a little higher, but you're
Yep.
gonna probably find someone there you really wanna connect with, and it might benefit you personally, or it might benefit your business being part of it. So those are
Yeah.
my clear analogies. I think people,
I love those.
understand. Yeah, they do. So, anyway, and print is part of a mix. Now, print by itself, maybe not
Right.
so good, and
Right.
it can be great, but again, when a business goes and sends a postcard, they pay the money, they print the postcard, they pay a graphic designer, they send it out, and they wait for the phone to ring. That's a one shot and I might be gone. But when you get in a magazine, not only you said it before, not only do you get the ad in the magazine, but people go to the website when they get the magazine and then they
They
see
do.
ads there too. So they're seeing all this multimedia exposure that you're trying to get everywhere else, but it doesn't really work if you don't have that loved product like Simply Local.
Right. And again, when you put that out there, we get to show we get to show businesses advertisements, but in a magazine, because again, you're right, news is a little dead with print, but stories are not. And so
Right.
what we love is to tell the businesses stories.
Yep.
And you don't get that anywhere else. And then again, when you say, direct mailing versus magazine, you're right. One shot, that direct mailing doesn't really tell your story. But when we build our magazine, that's why we build it to be so beautiful, is because we want it to live on your coffee table or in your
Mhm.
kitchen, or we want you not to throw that out.
Yep.
Because what happens is it does have a chance to stay in your life and tell that story for that business in multiple different ways.
Yeah, and people don't, because print has got that bad reputation and because it's hard to make money on print, you have less national magazines because that's
Yes.
kind of news too. So Time Magazine and Newsweek and all these big magazines that people use, I used to subscribe to them. I don't subscribe to
Mhm.
any printed
No.
magazines anymore. But, so there's fewer laying around your coffee table. So Simply Local, as beautiful as it is, I wish I had one. I do have one. I forgot to bring it this morning. Maybe you can show the cover, but
Yeah. So this is, I mean, these are just a couple of our issues. Like I said, our covers are huge to us. We make sure that they're beautiful. I'm putting them in the camera, taking them off. But
it's a little fuzzy on there, but anyway,
yeah, make
I'll
sure.
tell people, you always have a local photo. It's beautiful.
Mhm.
It's glossy paper. It's perfect bound. This is a real, like a catalog. I mean, this is like a real
For sure.
major magazine that people are getting in a small
Yeah.
town, Billings.
Our goal is to make it as beautiful as possible because again, we want people to be drawn to it and to pick it up. We live in an Instagram society, right? That works with print too. If it's
Got
beautiful,
it.
people want to look at it. And so we work for that. We work for that. Yeah.
So a lot of our viewers are small businesses. So let's tell them a
Mhm.
little bit about your program. I mean, obviously, we talked a lot about the print. You have some other things going on, your website you mentioned, but I know you have some other really interesting and effective means to reach folks along with
Right.
the print. So I don't know if you can explain that or
Right.
not.
Sure. Well, when you're a small business, you're looking, everybody should have, our metaphor is you should have a pie for your marketing and you should cut different pieces for different parts of that marketing, whether, because there are so many ways to market. And I always tell everybody that print should definitely be a piece of that pie. And if
Mhm.
it's not, you need to rethink that. And, but in our early days when we were just print, I would tell you that we could be one piece of your pie. We should and could be one piece of your pie. As we've grown and turned into more of a multimedia company with our own website and also reaching with an extended digital platform,
Mhm.
essentially we can work with our small businesses now on a local level because we know our businesses and we know where we live and we know how to reach the people who live where we live. And so we like to come in not just with the print, which is a really huge piece of it, but to also, like you said, get them online on our website, to get
Mhm.
them online in, extended ways through some programmatic digital kind of situations. And we
Mhm.
find when we build those packages for our small business clients that it works so well because this print is building the trust. It's building your brand and the community's looking at it and the community is feeling comfortable with who you are. And then of course to bring in, online because people, I mean, we have to be honest, people are online as much
Sure.
as print is a much more valuable read and medium. people are online. That's just a
Sure.
fact. So to make sure that your small business is online with us, and also in targeted ways to find your consumer too. Essentially, we're having so much fun just building these packages for small businesses that really just make sure that we have all of their bases covered when it comes to their marketing. Again, we
Got it.
used to be able to say we can be a piece of it. Now we can say, we can be most of it. Or a big part, if not all, of
Yeah.
a small business marketing needs now.
Well, I love that analogy now. I never ever used that one, but I'll start using that one too. But you mentioned trust, and putting your
Mhm.
ad as a business in a magazine there's lots of studies, and it just makes sense that it does build trust, because who are these
Yes,
people? They're they're important enough to be in this magazine. Um,
right.
the other part is trust of you. You know the market, you're local there, you've
Mhm.
been in the print game so much, and you kind of know your readership and all that stuff. So online, it's very easy for people from Timbuktu to sell someone in Billings, Montana, a social media package or a
Right,
website design or SEO. I was just in a meeting yesterday with a medical group here in San Diego, and I brought my SEO guy with me, and we did an
right,
analysis, because you're buying this from this person, this from this person, this, and they're spending a lot of money. And they
right,
were pretty much dumbfounded when he showed them the reports of, what terms they should be bound for, and where they really ranked. They weren't even on his report on the first page, let alone first page
so
of Google. They were on first page of Google for a lot of terms nobody ever looked for, but their SEO
right.
company was just throwing them up there to make it look
Ugh,
good. But the real stuff, they were just missing out, and they weren't doing well, and that's why. And socially, the same thing. They were spending money on Facebook ads, and the social media person to post all these, and the explanation was, you've got to there's ways you got to go through this, but being a part of that cross promotional package, and maybe more importantly, working with one company that you trust to do
mhm.
all this stuff at once. And so it's great that you've entered that world, and there's things you can other companies, bigger companies, that you can work with to provide these services, but you've
Right.
vetted them kind of for you're kind of acting as an agency, not
Mhm.
just a publisher, right? So
Very
you're
much so.
looking out for their best interest. And I don't know if you have people that don't even buy print, but there may
We
be.
do. We
Okay.
do. We don't it's funny because when we talk to our clients, we only recommend that if your brand is very well known and very well received already. Then we're like, okay, we'll look at just digital with you. But
Mhm.
um, it's a rare client that does just digital, but we do it for sure.
Right. So that way
Mhm.
people they can know you and trust you. You're right down the street. And I
Right.
can't emphasize how important that is, because I've had my own business, and I know, I talk to businesses all the time, and it's all, well, we buy our social media from this company, we buy our website from this company. It's like, how are any of
Right.
these people talking to each other? And back to your pie analogy, it's almost like you have a cherry pie, but a couple of those pieces are rotten cherries. You want to
Or
get those out of
blueberry, or
there.
yeah, absolutely.
They all mix each other, and there's one
Right.
one cold piece and one warm piece, and one's rotten cherries and one's blueberry and one's who knows what.
Exactly.
So,
It's not
you
a very
know,
great pie.
yeah, and that pie is yours. You are that pie, really. So that is your business. So anyway, that's
No, I
hopefully I
love that.
didn't screw up the explanation, but I like
No,
it.
that's actually perfect. I love that extension of it, actually. I'll use that
Don't have
going
rotten
forward.
cherries in your pie. Um, Anyway, so tell us a little bit more about your plans. I know you've been growing, and you've been adding staff, and you're really the dominant player really there in Billings.
Yeah, so
On the
as
print
far as, yeah, lifestyle local media, we are the dominant player here. And as we've looked forward, we've had some people reach, out to us about perhaps duplicating what we're doing in other communities. And so what we've been doing here is just building our staff and building a base so that when we do, when we reach out into those other communities, we have the staff and the base and the core here to support that
yeah,
elsewhere. So,
yeah,
I mean, you and I both know starting a magazine is hard, and it's not really for the faint of heart. But what we're hoping is that with, we can support somebody doing this in another community so it can be local for them, but at the
right.
same time, they don't have to start it from scratch.
Got
And
it.
so we're really looking at that in the future.
Yeah, I know we talked about that. So it's an interesting concept, and hopefully we can help each other continue
Yeah.
down that path, because I just I love the name, I love the product, I love you guys, and your whole team out there is great. And What else? Anything else you want people to know? What the future holds? What other
I'm just
things?
no. I mean, like I said, we're just plugging along here, having fun. This we have a super fun team. We've enjoyed getting to know you guys for sure. And we just look forward to whatever we get to do with you guys in the future. And yeah, no, just kind of plugging along and enjoying ourselves, enjoying living locally because that's what we do every single day of our lives.
Exactly. We all do. So, and some of us don't realize it, but we're all local. We just need to celebrate it. Yeah.
Right.
So, if you're most of our viewership's going to be here in San Diego, but not all of it. But if you're in
Okay.
San Diego, go to Montana. Billings is a really cute. It's really close to Yellowstone. It's a cute
Mhm.
town. The whole state of Montana is just gorgeous. So, visit Montana. There's my Visit Montana pitch.
Perfect.
They're my sponsor
Coming up.
today. They're not really, but. Uh, and pick up Simply Local magazine and look for it online. It's Simply Local Billing
Billings.com. Mm-hmm.
Billings.com. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I sure had fun having you today. Thanks for being with us. I'll stay in touch and continued success for you, and I'll keep my tabs on you and
Perfect.
watch you grow.
Thanks. It's
Okay.
been fun. Thanks for having me on the show today.
That's our show today. I do want to thank our other sponsors, Attorney King, of course, Aquan Casino, IB Fitness, and that's Simply Local San Diego. Jenny Barriger, thanks for being with us. See you next
Thanks.
time.